weeks where I was on the verge of being homeless, where I could afford $5 a day to eat and drink. And yet I still continued. If I had to summarize it to one thing that keeps showing up, that I learn in every different modality that I do, that we are our own healers. Does that mean that I'm not scared? I'm scared shitless, all right?
Hello and welcome to Living Rich Syrup. I'm your host, Rich Syrup, and this is the podcast where we search for our truth, reconnect with our inner voice. My guest today is Lior Klisman. Lior is an entrepreneur who has built multiple businesses from scratch, and today he coaches founders and high-performing leaders on the emotional, psychological, and relational realities of leadership. Lior, amazing. I'm so happy to finally have you on the podcast.
So happy to be here.
You know, I talk a lot about, and I actually have a lot of clients who talk about this too, about when you work so hard to reach the top of that mountain, and then you are at the top of that mountain, and how sometimes the feeling can surprise you. Did it surprise you when you rose up to the top?
Yeah, it definitely did. I think, what was that quote that I've read years and years ago, and it was profound in how I saw myself and the highs and lows. And we might have heard that quote together, but it's only when you scale the summit that you know what it feels like starting from the bottom and scaling it again. And I'm butchering that quote, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
What it is. You get to the summit and you remember how you got there. And without getting there, you never know what it looks like.
Yeah, but for me, it felt, and I should say what you did and who you are. You know, you have done so much. You're a company. You started your own company in the world of IT. And correct me if anything, I'm doing all this all off the top of my head because I know you. But your company was one of Inc. 5,000 on many different years. You, I have it right here. You 300% growth year over year. Big VC partnerships. So you reached the top in your industry, and I did too as a producer. And I remember getting to the top, and you're right. Once you know how to climb to the top, once you get through the middle and you make it to the top, you could do it in anything.
Yeah.
But I remember just feeling that saying of it's lonely at the top felt very real.
Yeah. It feels very real because you have so much on your shoulder, right? There is so many things that most founders or entrepreneurs don't speak to anybody else about. What keeps you up at night, and the feeling of, am I good enough? And is the business going to succeed? Well, it's doing well now, but is it going to continue doing well? Any small changes can crash the company. Do my team like me? Are we providing great services to our clients? Are they happy with our offerings? So many things. And, you don't want to talk about it to your investors because you don't want them to see you in a different eye. You sure can talk about it to your clients because you don't want them to stop, believing in what you do. Same goes to your team. You can't tell them, hey, I'm worried about the business, because that will take down their morale and it's going to be a slippery slope from there. So who can you talk to? And that's been my question for years. And in my first companies, I didn't realize that mentors or coaches were necessary. Well, that was a huge mistake. When one of my mentors had me take a coach, was one of his rules to work with him as a mentor was that I would have to see a coach or a therapist, whatever. And when I started doing it, I realized, wow, finally I have a space, I have a container, I have somewhere that I can take off my mask and just be, without pretending to be this amazing, successful, running in a great company, because all that is, it's backstage.
What did it look like when you took the mask off?
Coming back home to myself. I think realizing, I do have patterns. Am I good enough is one big one. Till today, I'm building my 5th company, and I still think about that. Will the company be good enough? Am I good of enough leader to lead this? Blah, 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 all these stories that we tell ourselves. So first and foremost, coming back home to myself, realizing that I need to speak about them, and keeping it all to myself as like a lone wolf survivor is just going to take me that far. I've lived way too many years of my life in a survival mode. And now I can actually work on that. I can work on that in a sense that I can name what I'm feeling. I can name what it is that I'm scared of. I can sit with it. I can have tools and practices to cope with it. And maybe the best out of all that, I can teach that to my co-founders, to my employees. So now we're all becoming better. Now we're all steering the ship in much smoother water, as they say. And that's what we do today to help other people do the exact same, right?
You're right about the mask. You do have to wear the mask and you can't show yourself, and that is hard. But even in my personal life, I think I was wearing a mask for myself. And I was thinking, oh, yeah, this is what it takes to be. If you have reverence, if you have a nice car, if you have a nice house, if you have a lot of money, if people respect you in the world that you're in, then that means that you've made it. And then naturally you would feel joy. And that didn't happen. And that was shocking.
Yeah, it didn't happen to me as well. I thought, hey, we're gonna get acquired. I'm gonna have this whole huge amount of money in my bank, and I'm gonna be the happiest person alive. Well, the money came to the bank. Other than being shocked at the number because I've never seen a number like that, I felt nothing.
Mm.
I've not to this day. It's been 3.5 years. To this day, I have not celebrated it, and
Yeah.
and it's probably a mistake that I didn't celebrate. But I felt nothing. I realized that success and happiness are so different. I knew about it before. I've heard people tell that to me. I had mentors and my coaches tell that to me. Until you experience it on your own skin, you just don't believe. And when
Yeah.
you
No,
do,
you
you're
really
like,
don't.
wow, they're all right. They were all right. I was wrong. I felt nothing.
So, one of the things I think is interesting about success, um, external success,
Yeah.
reverence, money, all that side of success is how the people that were already in your life before, how they start treating you differently. You don't feel like you've changed, at least I didn't, but people started acting differently towards me in lots of different ways. Like some people would say I got lucky, and you know very well because you've done it that luck is just a product of a lot of hard work and
Yeah.
putting yourself in the right place a lot of times, or people asking you for things, or people thinking that you're stuck up. Did that happen to you too?
100%. I would be a liar if I said not. And they happened in many different shapes and colors. Some of what you just mentioned, others were expecting me to pay for things, like good friends now expected me to pay for more things because I had more. Or people would say, "Oh, now that you have this, you've changed." And what's was always astonishing to me that it was their mirror. It's their
Mm.
mirror to face, not mine. Because
Yeah.
if I change something, I like my version today more than I've liked any other version of myself
Oh, I
prior.
felt that. That feels good.
Yeah. And maybe some people that know me for a very long time can't accept that because it's really hard to see somebody else change when you feeling that you don't. So what's the first thing you do? Blame them. Oh, they got lucky. Oh, it's just because he has success, he can do all that. No, it's just because of a choice to change and not to stay the same and continuously evolve.
Mhm.
But yeah, there was a lot of expectation. There was expectations, family expectations. And everyone that did an exit will tell you the same. All of a sudden, your family expect things from you.
And it's easy for us to sit here and talk, and people might go, "Oh, well, look at you. You ran a company and sold a company, and you were the executive producer of it. You don't know what it's like." And I think that I get that perspective. I really do.
Yeah,
But I think everybody knows what pain is like. Everybody knows what it's like to suffer. You
yeah,
know, um, and I think people are suffering in all different phases of their life, and they have to find a way to get through it and work with it. And I don't like people to think that they're different or that they're alone, because
yeah,
just because you're not able to pay your bills right now, if that's who you are, does not mean that I think that you're a bad person. I just think
yeah,
you're suffering in that way, and somebody else might be suffering in a way of having a relationship that's not working, or a kid that's not getting along with them. And I think
yeah,
we all just need to be a lot more generous with each other, and understanding, and just kind of kind, really.
yeah. And that's a lot of times why I speak so openly about my upbringing. I grew up to a fairly poor family. I grew up with nothing. I lived in 7 different countries, across 3 continents. I needed to reinvent myself so many times. I came to the US with $2,000 in my pocket. There were weeks where I was on the verge of being homeless, where I could afford $5 a day to eat and drink. And yet I still continued, right? I failed 3 businesses, 2.5, we'll call it. Miserably failed, my glorious failure, but those taught me more than the success would ever teach me.
So many people sit on the sideline. They don't get in the game. They never enter the arena. And so they don't know the feeling, how great it feels actually to fail. To me, failure feels really good. It's like addictive
Yeah.
because I know I'm getting closer. And I
Yeah.
think once you start doing it, the all of the worry about failing goes away because now it's a reality. And what you realize too is that nobody cares because
No.
everybody's so consumed with themselves all the time.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh my God, who's looking at me? Am I the one?" Everybody's in their own head, and nobody's. If you, that's our own ego saying, "Oh, everybody's watching me. Everybody's rooting for me to fail." And
Yeah.
in fact, when I started making YouTube videos, and I had nobody in my channel at all, and I used to make shows for 35 million people, and now I'm making a video that gets 50 views and like 4 likes. And at first, I thought, "Oh my God, people that know me from the TV world are going to go." Look at him. He failed. He didn't make it. I knew he wasn't going to make it. He was never good enough. And that was not them. That was me.
Yeah.
That
So
was
it was our inner
my
critic.
that was my critic. That was me. That was nobody else. And once I realized that, I was like, quieted once you can recognize the critic and you can quiet it down, talk back to it, put
Yeah.
it where it needs to be, you can move forward. But I was really worried that that was going to happen. And guess what? Nobody, actually, a few people private messaged me who were people who I didn't even know liked me that were in the industry of television and said, "I'm so proud of you. This is so amazing that you're putting yourself out there." And they didn't do it on the message board. They did it as DMs to me. And I thought, wow, I really touched a few of these people that must have something within them that they need to get out too,
Yeah.
that they've been stuck.
Yeah. We're all mirrors to one another, and it can be in the negative, it can be in the positive. But what you said earlier, so many of us are spectators. And the question is, do you want to continue spectating or do you want to actually go in the playing field and play?
Yeah. What do you think, though? I think a lot of people's answer to that question is they're okay being spectators, and that's okay.
I think a lot of people will say that they're playing without realizing that they're spectators.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. That's for
That
sure. But I have
that's
a
where the
friend.
problem comes, because if somebody tells me I'm a spectator and I want to be a spectator, okay, let's talk about it. But when you act like you're playing, where the
Yeah.
only thing you're doing is spectating, that's where there is such a huge divide, right? It's like you're thinking you're playing, but you're not really playing. You're telling yourself a story that you're playing, but factual, the results that you're getting are not a result of somebody that's playing.
You're not even in the game. Yes, that is 100%. I have a friend though who says to me, "You work so hard," and I think this might be meant as an insult, actually. Um, like I just wouldn't. Actually, you know what it is? I just figured it out as I'm saying it. I just couldn't put in all the work that you do to get what you want, and I think it's a way of saying I could have what you have, but I just don't care to try. But
Yeah.
I'm as good as you.
Yeah. So that's the
So
story they tell themselves. Oh, we're playing, but are you? Nah, not really. Again, a mirror, right? Because you doing what you're doing invokes something in them that they don't like about themselves. So the only thing that they can do is put the mirror reverse. It's like, oh, I can do what you're doing, but I would never because I don't want it.
yeah.
Nah.
So you and I, we have talked a lot about doing our own podcast, and it was what was the name of it? It was I forget already.
I forget. The
Obviously,
not,
not a good,
the not something, right?
the not perfect podcast.
The not perfect podcast.
That's right.
Yeah,
And
that's
at
right.
one point, it was going to be about being a man in today's world, and then it's going to be about. Well, let's talk about perfect.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you need to be perfect? Obviously, you take chances.
I mean, again, I would like to say that I don't want to be perfect, but then I remind myself that what is perfect, that it doesn't really exist.
No, there's
So what
nothing.
I try to do is to be a better version of myself all the time. If it works all the time, absolutely not. Again, it would be a lie to say, yes, it does. So, but I still try, just like trying things and seeing, some work, some don't. It's the same thing. I want to be a better version of myself. Like, for example, 2 days ago, I had off days. I call them wacky days. Doesn't happen to me often. In the past, like 5 years ago, if those happen, I would judge myself. I would go into my inner critic and my self-judge and how could you? Why are you doing that to yourself? The world is horrible. Things are not going your way. Now I just show compassion to it and realize, hey, it's a part of me, and sit with it. So
Yeah.
I had 2 bad days. And I wake up the next day and feeling great. And that's because I allowed myself to have the compassion around it, to forgive myself for feeling that, and not to try to fight it. But look, it's okay. We're human beings. We're feeling machines. And if we're not allowing that feeling, then I'm just being more avoidant, and I have an avoidance attachment style. Then I'm just being more avoidant. I'm going more in the cave and deeper and deeper and deeper.
And you've done, you have so many things you've done, so many different modalities. I know you did NLP with me, but you've done Tantra stuff. You've so many things.
Yeah.
So out of all of these different things that you've done, and aside from the good enough stuff, but what has it taught you? Do you have like one overall thing where you're like, this is what I figured out from all of this self work?
If I had to summarize it to one thing that keeps showing up, that I learn in every different modality that I do, that we are our own healers. No one else can heal me other than myself. I can get tools from people. I can learn different things. I can learn new practices. I can learn different ways of thinking, whatever it is. If I don't implement them myself, they won't work. I can't have somebody come and tell me, oh, you should meditate, and all of a sudden things will be good, right? I have to sit in meditation, and I have practice makes progress. I have to do it over and over and over and over again. Or we can talk about it with business. I'm going to try, and if not, pivot and make different features and see how my customers are reacting to that. And if they love it, great, I can build upon that. If they don't, what do I need to change? And customer feedback and so forth and so on. But we are our own healers. The things we tell ourselves, how we act to ourselves, how we feel, our emotions, I think from all the modalities, that's the biggest thing.
Do you think the most dangerous part for somebody is figuring out how to start, or getting through the middle when the results haven't shown up yet?
Starting something will be harder, because doing the first step is always the scariest. Once you're already up and running, making changes while they'll still be scary are easier in a sense. I don't know if easier is the right word. They're not, because nothing about them is easy, but it's like you're already in it. So what are you going to do? Are you just going to give up? Some people do. Or you're going to try. But the starting of something, it is scary. Like right now, I'm starting something. I believe in the product. I've built it first for myself because it solved personally for me something. And everyone that I talked to had the same issue that I had, and why I decided to build for it. So I trust it. I know it really solves a real problem. Does that mean that I'm not scared? I'm scared shitless. All right. Sorry. I
What are
am
you scared about?
scared about not succeeding and having, and another company that didn't succeed after a success. So you want that momentum, and how will it look? Will it hurt my credibility? Again, it's all the shadow, all of the dark shadow talking and telling you, because they want to protect. Oh, you're comfortable now. Why are you to go into hard roads? But that's what's scary about letting myself down, letting my family down, letting my wife down, letting my co-founder or other team that we'll have. It's all that, but it's all nonsense, because it's, again, as we talked earlier in the show, it's a protective mechanism.
I've never asked you this question, and I don't know why it's popping into my head right now.
Let's go. Give it to me.
It's going to be an oddball question for this interview, so get ready.
Let's do it.
Because you do so much meditation, you're so internal, you've done so much self-work. I feel like you might have a good answer. What do you think happens to us when we die?
Phew. Well, you
I
really,
tell you it's gonna be. I told you. I
you
warned you.
what a curveball. Uh, what do I
Uh,
think will happen? Years and years ago, when I was younger, I used to have like fears of death. Like so many people do, but like really like crumbling fear of like, I don't want to die. I don't want anybody else to die. Uh, Nowadays, I believe that we end our physical hosting body. And I felt that we go somewhere. Where that somewhere is, I don't know. Some people call it reincarnation. Some people call it that we roam to different layers and different universes, whatever you want to call. We can get very, very, very spiritual here.
yeah, I
Uh,
love that stuff. Anyway, I mean,
uh, so that's what I believe. I believe we actually, or I want to believe that we're going to a better place.
I think it's actually a very fitting question for this conversation because I believe that a lot of the reason that we're so afraid of everything, the fear of death, for me, a lot of my life held me back. And I think what happened was I had an awakening, and I experienced, that there is no death. That death is once you are able to die here, then you are born.
Yeah.
Is kind of how I look at it. And so I felt that. I felt that I've been around, that I've died before, that I've been here before, and then I just felt like a big relief. It was like really was an awakening. I've heard Eckhart Tolle talk about kind of what happened to him, and it felt like a shift where, I was laying down the other day, and I was talking to my wife, and we have all our stresses coming from a million different directions: parents, kids, finances,
Yeah.
2 houses, as everybody does. And I just was smiling, and I was like, I'm just so happy that I'm me. And she was like, she got it. She's really cool and deep. And what I meant by that was like, not rich, this guy. I'm just
Yeah.
so happy to be my energy. I'm happy to even know that I'm in my energy. I'm happy to understand what that is, and to be able to be kind of an observer of this character that's been playing me, and the ego that says, how dare you do that? I need to be right. Step back in line, child. Versus like, what's the right way to parent right now in this
Yeah.
situation over, I need to be right. I'm the adult. You're the child. I'm the person who's the boss. I'm the guy with this job. That stuff has really kind of rolled off of me.
Yeah. I think, for our listeners that are thinking about, you said I died and we died a few times. I think, you know, we're talking about dying a certain death. Like a part of us is dying, the old of us. We just like the snake, we shed a skin, so we call it dying a death.
Yeah.
And in the spiritual world that both of us know, it is dying a death. The
Oh,
Lior right now, Lior is a Lior 4.0, Lior 3.0 has died.
yeah. That's not how I meant it, though.
Okay, so how
I
did
meant
you
it in
mean
the
it?
literal sense.
Okay,
Yeah, I got to feel some past life stuff, in a deep meditation, and it was
yeah,
wild. But I agree with you. I actually think that what holds us back so often is our. Okay, why did I bring up death? We're talking about fear. Okay, maybe I didn't know this is why, but you just hit it. You just nailed it. It's 100% true.
here we go.
So often we will not get out of a pain point. We will stay in pain because we are so afraid of change
Man,
that we're unwilling to have a better life. And to me, that's because you fear death. You fear the death of your current life. You fear the death of your current relationships. Death is such a big fear that it controls us. You fear the death of a job that you don't like, even though you don't like it. It has to die for you to change and do something else.
yeah. So when you put, and I agree, when you put death in that perspective, I think so many of us are afraid, even more afraid of death than the actual physical body dying. But we're afraid of things in our lives dying, like a job, like a career, or like whatever, all the things that you just mentioned. And it's interesting how that fear again can cripple you, and people live so much in the fear and so much in they're not willing to realize their true worth and take risks in gaining to their worth in every aspect of their life, that they prefer to stay small because maybe for them staying small is more comfortable.
Mm,
Where for people like us, staying small for me, that's death. Not
yeah,
trying to grow, not trying to evolve as a human, as a husband, as a business person, as an entrepreneur. I that that notion in and of itself cripples me if I'm not going to explore growth.
I agree. I actually it was when I'm too busy with the minutia of life and the logistics of life,
Yeah,
I will complain nonstop that I'm not doing anything to grow.
yeah,
I'll be like, I need to read a book. I need to go to a thing. I need to meditate more. I need to go for a walk in nature. I feel it. I feel when I'm not growing, and then I can become addicted to growth too, where I can't get in the car without listening to another book.
yeah.
And at
And
some
how do
point,
you feel when you don't feel that you're growing? What's the
I
feeling?
feel almost caged.
Mm,
I feel like I'm meant to really. We all are, but
yeah,
as I've been so fortunate, I've been given the gift of being able to see life a certain way and to grow exponentially through coaching, through all the stuff that I've done, through all the books that I've read, through my relationship with my wife, through meeting people like you, that I don't want to take it for granted. I want to keep
no,
climbing that tree. And as you said, to help other founders, to help other coaches, because anything that I can learn and I can grow through, I can help somebody else grow through. And so I'm always trying to move forward because how often have you had a client that comes to you and they say, "This is what I want to work on." And your brain starts to click because you have a lot of tools, but you haven't necessarily worked on that exact problem yet.
yeah,
So then you go into your bag and you go, what have I done that around guilt? What have I done around guilt? Like what tools do I have to help somebody through guilt? And then is it tied to a core emotional need? Is it part of, this other thing that I've learned? Is it part of the two-door system? So many different areas. Then you find the one and you figure out how to apply it to them. But the more that you the more growth that you have, the more that you can share.
yeah. And I think that's why coaching, we're not, that's why I love coaching so much. We're not coaching individuals. We're coaching with and through individuals.
Yes.
It's a two-way street. How many
Mhm.
times where you have a client that comes to you and you tell them something, and that same thing you told them, it applies right now to your life? So many times. I'm like, I don't know,
Mm.
something flowed through me and I just said it. I didn't think about it. It's like
Oh my
cold.
God. I have goosebumps right now because
Yeah,
that happens so often as a coach. It's crazy.
exactly. Some divine wisdom flowed something through you that you yourself needed to hear
Yes.
so many times. And
Yes.
that's when I had the light bulb goes up. Oh, I'm never really just coaching somebody. I'm coaching with and through them.
Yes. So beautifully said. And when they have breakthroughs
Yeah.
and they're crying and they're just so emotional or they're just smiling and they're looking up, it's your healing too.
Yeah.
You can feel your own, not that you need to heal because we're all whole,
Yeah.
nobody's broken, but it feels so amazing to watch somebody make a breakthrough because you're right there with them. Your breakthrough is happening too.
Yeah. And I love when you say that you don't need to heal because you're not broken. I see as healing as both of us see it probably in the same way. Healing is growth. I'm healing myself so I can grow more and be a better version of myself, as we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
And
right, last question. You ready?
I'm always ready for your questions. Always.
Put these By the way, I wrote a whole interview for this thing, and I have not used a single question I wrote.
For some reason, I'm not surprised. This is the majority of our conversations.
But we didn't need it. I feel like it went really well. You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
just me and you
we could do
talking about
hours
mindset and
of this.
put these in order when it comes to business. These three things, okay? Passion, work ethic, and what was the I can't remember the third. I haven't asked this question in a long time. Passion, work ethic. Hold on, here it is. I gotta find it. Oh, adaptability. Adaptability. Passion, work ethic, adaptability.
Adaptability, passion, work ethic. Without being able to adapt, you'll stay in a certain lane. The idea of business is trying different lanes all the time. So I think just like business, same goes for life. And that's why I wish to see more schools teaching AQ, especially in an age of AI. Adaptability becomes such an important thing for all of us to experience, business, non-business, whatever it is. Passion, you need to have passion to what you're going to do. If you don't like the business that you've started, that you're running, don't have the passion for it, then it might be smart to stop and see what's there. Is there something? That's why, again, adaptability becomes more important. Is there something that you need to adapt, something you need to change to reclaim your passion? Because a lot of times I see business owners get stuck. The business is doing well, but they're not passionate anymore. And then they change one area of the business or find a new revenue stream that they're passionate about, and boom, the passion scales back up. And then work ethic becomes third, because you need to have a work ethic and you need to want to work. I would say I would take work ethic out. It would probably be number 7 or 8, and I would put resiliency and persistence way before I would think about.
Maybe you call it discipline. Maybe work ethic should really be discipline, because it kind of involves resilience and work ethic. And
I agree. But yeah,
I will put them in the order of adaptability, which not a lot of people do, by the way, as the first one. And then I would do work ethic, discipline second, and passion third, because I've had so many things that I loved in life that I had so much passion for, that once it became something that I needed to really do, I lost the passion for it, because it just is it became a job. And I like to keep my magic separate, I like to be like, okay, this is something I love, but I don't want to try to monetize it. I don't want to make it my life. I want to make it my hobby. And, I produced game shows for a long time. I wasn't a big game show lover. I didn't go into, I got to do game shows. I kind of stumbled into game shows. I wanted to be into comedy. And by the way, had I gotten to comedy, I probably wouldn't like comedy anymore, because once you have to constantly dissect it and you're always trying to be funny, I did it as a stand-up. I started to lose the passion for it. Baseball, I lost the passion for the baseball when I was playing. But if you can, adaptability is always first. And if you adapt and you get to work, and then the passion just keeps the flame enough to get you right back to the beginning, to adapt again, to get back to work. It's
an interesting idea and concept that you've said, and I don't disagree with it. I think I would separate love and passion to be two different things, because you didn't love game shows, but were you passionate about creating the creativity of creating a game show?
Yeah, I was.
So that's passion for me. That's what I see as passion. Then what are you going to do with the passion? You could have taken that, okay, I don't love game shows. I'm going to go with that passion of creating, and I'm going to use that creativity to somewhere else. You're still in passion. That's why, again, we agree.
I think it's important. I think it's important, but that's why I put it third, just because, I've become good at a lot of things, especially when it comes to work and business.
Yeah.
Really, with those 3 components, they're all important. But for me, I've had passion on a lot of things, and they just, without adaptability and work ethic, it goes nowhere.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why you have it higher too. So
yeah, I do have it higher, and it might be my own thing, because if you did say resilience, I would probably put that before passion, like adaptability, resilience.
Yeah. I think work ethic's the one that needs to change.
Yeah, it's maybe that work ethic that have taken me somewhere else. But both points are interesting, and I think you need the whole 3. It's not this or that and that. It's this and all of it.
Yeah, it's true. And about 30 other things.
About 30 other things.
But don't let that scare you if you're listening or watching, because the only way you get any of those things, or even realize what they are, is to fail.
Yes.
Failure will help you. All right. This has been great, Lior. I've enjoyed it so much. We're definitely going to do it again, and hopefully we'll do our podcast at some point.
We have to.
The Not Perfect, All Man, whatever it is called, podcast.
Yeah. The Not Perfect podcast, maybe.
I love it. Yeah. All right. This has been Living Rich. Syrup, we'll see you, hear from you. Talk to you next time.